As the GPL draws almost to a close, we are now at match point where Ascension has taken away 2 points, whereas for Qualifier Hunters, what an upset in Game 2.
Yeah, if any of your friends asks you, have you ever seen the closest game of competitive League of Legends, tell them to watch Game 2 of the GPL 2018 Spring Final, because that game, Vulcan, could easily have been decided by 1 or even just 2 auto attacks.
I gotta say, for Ascension Gaming, playing on a knife's edge, close to victory here, and especially for KLH, they tried their best. So I think I'm gonna say what's on everyone's mind right now. I'm pretty sure KLH is tilted so hard that, but when it comes to pro players, so close to GPL, this close to going to MSI, one more game will decide if Ascension will represent Southeast Asia. But KLH, is that all you got there? Can they try and bounce back here? Because when I saw Game 2, I knew that the Hunters, they have a fight in them. They can still go for this, Chisto.
I mean, the Kuala Lumpur Hunters, they were fairly ahead during majority of that game, with the sole exception of Shiro in the top lane. I think for the most part, Shen really got bullied by the Trundle, and I think Ascension Gaming really played around the fact that they had a Trundle that could bully lane, and they really used that fact to play around that specific side of the map where the Trundle was, and that really led to them having so much pressure as far as the split push goes.
The aftermath of our Game 2, you can see the exhaustion from KLH's face. How grueling it was. So close to getting one more point against Ascension Gaming, but for them to shut the doors down. Now Ascension Gaming is at 1 point ahead before moving on to the MSI. KLH, this will be their last stand. If they cannot mount a victory here, they are forced to give the championship to Ascension Gaming.
Yeah, if the Kuala Lumpur Hunters want to make it all the way to MSI, it looks like they have to do it the hard way, Vulcan, which will be a reverse sweep versus an Ascension Gaming that is probably on an all-time high at the moment after winning the game in that manner. And we're gonna head straight into the pick and ban phase here. Alistar will be the first ban from Ascension, followed by the Skarner. As for the Kuala Lumpur Hunters, they will be denying the Cassiopeia away from G4.
As we saw the Cassiopeia performing exceptionally well in our first game of the Best of 5 series. KLH will respect this, but the question is, when Ascension is playing on the blue side, we notice how they go for picks more powerful in the mid lane. They go onto the red side, they play that Trundle, where it was a very upsetting defeat for the Malaysia fans out there. For Ascension Gaming, they will now be in the control here as they will play on the blue side. Last ban being picked down here. The Olaf has not yet been banned away by KLH. Skarner has been banned by Ascension.
I don't think Ascension have to necessarily ban the Olaf, given that they are playing on the blue side. It makes more sense for Kuala Lumpur Hunters to be the team that denies the Olaf from the first pick here. I wonder though, will Kuala Lumpur Hunters decide to go that route? Because if Olaf is not banned in this next rotation, I could see Ascension immediately jumping onto that pick.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I was gonna connect myself to that. Yeah, Kuala Lumpur Hunters will be the ones to ban out the Olaf, whereas Ascension will be banning out the Skarner. So common knowledge there, they would not give the Olaf to Entresso, who is a beast in this Olaf, who can actually try and cripple the jungler, especially the games we saw when the opposing team played a Sejuani.
Looking at the picks available for Ascension, Caitlyn comes to mind here. Lloyd could easily pick that AD carry and really help his team get forward in the early phases, especially in the bot lane. But it looks like Varus will once again be the choice for Ascension. So going back to what has worked for them in Game 2, he was able to buy a bit of time on this Varus to really stall out, really absorb a lot of the pressure that KLH were dealing. As now KLH will be deciding on which top laner they do want to ring. Rumble, Gnar being hovered here. What will be the lock-in by Shiro?
We're still deciding here. This is the deciding game. Has to be very careful. They would go for the Galio being picked for Kuala Lumpur Hunters on their first rotation. Let's see. What will be their second pick?
They did hover over the Camille during the earlier phases. They can choose to pair this Galio with the Jarvan from KSPL, but I don't think they necessarily... Actually, they can go for the Jarvan here. Since Ascension already picked up their AD carry, there really wasn't any incentive in going for the Caitlyn during their first rotation.
They can go for the Braum at this point, seeing that it is available. Normally, they would pair the things up here. Camille is being hovered by Ascension. Looks like for the last rotations, they could go off for a support pick.
I'm really wondering why Kuala Lumpur Hunters decided to go for an AD carry pick here, because Ascension already locked in the Varus. It gives you no incentive to lock in the Caitlyn along with the Galio. They could have gone for the Caitlyn in this specific pick phase, so I wonder what KLH will decide to go for here.
KLH will be giving away powerful picks to Ascension's side, seeing how the Varus and the Braum was one of their key picks during the TPL run, and as for the Camille, a powerful flex. But KLH answers this last pick with the Taric. We'll be moving on to phase 2.
Okay, maybe Kuala Lumpur Hunters don't want to select their jungler yet since they don't know specifically where the Camille will go. Camille, of course, still a flex pick here for Ascension. Could easily go to both Rocky or Intresso. Taric is the hover at the moment. It is locked in now. Since there are still no junglers from the side of Kuala Lumpur Hunters, I wouldn't be surprised to see Ascension target those bans towards Caspiel, really try to shut him down, because that has been the trend throughout this tournament. We see teams talk about Kuala Lumpur Hunters, and majority of the strategies they say is just, oh, let's shut down Caspiel and that will be our way to victory.
That did not work so out for some teams, but for Kuala Lumpur Hunters, they're expecting that this Camille will be in the top lane, removing the Jax from Intresso. But for Ascension, they will remove the Sejuani, further, or rather the Zap, further pinching the pool of the junglers for KLH.
Yeah, I wonder though, are they gonna toss another ban towards Caspiel here? The Jarvan does come to mind. It does synergize well with the Galio pickup. Now, what I want to see from Kuala Lumpur Hunters is add a champion to their draft at the moment that enables the Galio to get into the middle of these fights, and something that dives in. And looking at jungle choices here, Kha'Zix could be a possibility, but Doctored as well allows the Galio to get into the middle of these fights. So I like the pickup here by Caspiel.
Yes, this will be the Nocturne they picked for Caspiel to complement the Galio being picked in the first rotation. Ascension now has to decide their mid laner. Ooh, this will be the Sejuani being taken away by Ascension. Looks like at this point, KLH can go for the Poppy if they wish to, knowing that this will be a Camille in the top lane.
Yeah, but the Poppy didn't really work out during the first game. Rocky absolutely smashed lane on this Camille and was always a real split push threat. Now, what will Ascension bring into the mid lane versus our Hedges Galio? Echo is the current hover. We haven't seen that much Echo recently, but I wouldn't be surprised to see G4 lock this pick in. It is locked in, so I guess we'll be seeing the Echo in the mid lane, Vulcan, making a comeback.
So let's see what will Ascension plan out here. Well, that's KLH, last pick on their side. That's yet to secure a top laner. Still thinking hard. What could go well against the Camille?
Poppy, you did mention the Poppy earlier, but during the first game, I don't think Shiro was able to hold down the Camille. He was able to deny some of the mobility, but he didn't necessarily hold the lane that well because Rocky was always a split push threat during that game. And I think the fact that Rocky has been running rampant throughout the first two games is a really cause for concern for Kuala Lumpur Hunters, because unless they can shut down the top laner of Ascension Gaming from split pushing here, we might see a repeat of what happened during the first two games where he just constantly bullies Shiro and takes down all of the towers in these side lanes.
I think when it comes to the Poppy pick, I think it's more valuable than I think, because when you're talking about the Camille, the Sejuani, the Echo, the Braum, all rely on leap mechanics where the Poppy can immediately time that well. And as for Ascension's side, they rely on timing, they rely on engages. And what better champion than is to keep at bay with Poppy with the steadfast presence. But as we all say at the desk, it's all better said than done on the Rift as we head on to our third game of the best of 5 series. Execution comes into play.
Yeah, we're headed into, we just actually finished what potentially could be the last pick and ban phase for this GPL. In Ascension Gaming, they're already on match point here as we see the drafts coming out. Ascension Gaming, another strong split push comp here. They could easily 1-3-1 with both the Camille and the Echo in the side lanes. As for the Kuala Lumpur Hunters, so much value with them going for these picks with the Nocturne. Pair that with the engage coming from the Galio and the Varus. So let's see, can Kuala Lumpur Hunters find the fights that they need versus Ascension Gaming?
Ascension Gaming will be running the Varus and the Braum in the bot lane, whereas for Kuala Lumpur Hunters will run the Caitlyn and the Taric, as we saw in the first rotations of the pick.
Yeah, and of course, match point. If Kuala Lumpur Hunters do want to make it all the way to MSI, they need to do it the hard way, Vulcan, which is winning 3 games straight versus a rolling Ascension.
At this point, Ascension Gaming with a great momentum from Game 1 and 2, with Game 2 being one of the hardest defeat, hardest upset for the Qualifier Hunters. Let us hope and pray that they can try and mount a comeback here as we head on to possibly the last game of the GPL spring season.
Yeah, championship point being flashed on your screen, meaning Ascension 1 game away. All they need to do is win this match and they will book their tickets straight into MSI. Now, a large win condition for them, I feel like, in this game is if they're able to set up the split push once again with both Rocky and G4. The solo laners for Ascension are running double teleport, so it looks very clear what they intend to do. The question is for KLH is, can they shut down what Ascension wants to do as the game progresses?
As for Ascension, they are running the Camille and Sejuani, so expect that for KLH, they would try to match the team fight with their own, with the Paranoia Nocturne going in hard against, let's say, the Varus, knowing that the Varus has no mobility. But for KLH, they have to be very delicate, very careful in deciding the fights they start. It's going for the fights that they feel like they have what it takes. But right now for Ascension, this is going to be them very comfortable going in for the red side invasion. We did see this before in the group stages. We're seeing it right now at championship point.
Let's see though, who actually gets the red buff as it has reset a bit, really trying to delay Caspiel.
Oh, what's this? A contest is happening here. Red buff is being contested here, trying to slow down this Nocturne. Ascension, 3 members invading the side, flashes over the wall into rejoining the members of Ascension. 3 members versus 3. Let's see how things pan out. It's an Echo. It's going to be a Sejuani trying to establish guard. The passive is there for the defensive stats, so no casualties on the red side for both teams.
In the end, it's actually a flash burned onto one from each team actually. G4 did burn his flash and Shiro burned his flash as well. Intresso is coming back towards the red buff here, really trying to annoy Caspiel.
Smite is ready. Can he go for the steal here? If he does steal it, it will succeed, but he does not. He may pay the price here by giving the first blood, but he does have his flash. Burns it just in time. Kind of weird how for the Nocturne, Caspiel kind of burned the flash too early there to try and cut him off.
I think the intention from Caspiel in that is he expected Intresso to immediately flash away the moment he saw the tether from the Nocturne Fear. So he tried to immediately close the distance so that the tether doesn't break. But Intresso, he knew that that would be the choice, so he held on to his own flash. So regardless of him trying to delay the Nocturne as much as he can, he still will not get the steal. Does have his flash burned though.
But a great slowdown towards the junglers. Both junglers actually for Ascension and KLH. But for Ascension side, they have failed to steal away the red buff. So it will be for Intresso. Let's see what he can do here from that fiasco in the red side.
It doesn't only slow down Caspiel if you think about it. It also slows down Intresso quite a bit here. And given that both these junglers heavily rely on their ultimates in order to be effective as the game progresses, you have to question the thought process of Ascension's jungler in trying to delay Caspiel's Nocturne.
Like I said before, it was KLH for Caspiel having the advantage here, taking the red buff early, whereas for Intresso, he will have a rough start.
Yeah, that's kind of a rough start for the Sejuani, like you mentioned. Caspiel though will want to rush the level 6 as fast as he can in this game, and I think it's good that KLH have picked up the Nocturne here, given that Ascension do want to split push. The Nocturne can always threaten the side lanes with his Paranoia if it does reach that point.
So far Caspiel is just level 3, seeing how the fiasco happened. No steals happening from both sides, just a delay there. Sejuani for Intresso in the blue side.
Yeah, both junglers are gonna try and just rush to that level 6, have their ultimates available. That's when all the action happens, Vulcan.
But before then, we gotta watch out for the activeness of the Echo to the Gallia matchup, seeing how at this point it will call into the jungler because we're seeing that for Intresso making its way here in the mid lane.
And now Intresso
Urgence will come in here, shield is there. Sadly enough, the stun will not connect. Kinda would have set up for the gank there in the mid lane, so we are seeing G4 low on health. Will be backing off.
I don't think the intention there for Intresso was to get a kill or a summoner burned onto RH. He was helping G4 push out the lane so that the Echo could reset, given that he was low on both mana and HP. Now G4 will be able to back off and picks up actually an Amplifying Tome and a Dark Seal, so trying to stay in lane quite a bit longer.
trying his best to out-sustain the lane, but when it comes to a Galio matchup, the magic shield that the Galio has in the passive is kind of giving the Galio an advantage here. So for G4, we rely just to stay in lane long as he can, but that's not right now. We're seeing Caspiel, the red side of Ascension.
Oh no, Intereso. He doesn't have his flash, remember?
He's low on health, low flash. There's the challenging smite, but will not connect the fear. I don't think for Intereso he will bite. He will just back off from Caspiel.
Yeah, no action right there. Caspiel is very happy to back off given that G4 was in a position to possibly chase him down. He didn't have his flash. He didn't have the flash of his own, so if he did get stunned there, that could have been first blood.
Yeah, from the first contest that happened in the red side, burning the summoners were just key for everything to set up here. But looks like for Caspiel, make its way in the mid lane. Assist just there for the fear. It'll be, giving the kill to Caspiel for that first blood.
Yeah, and I like that RH decided to give the kill over to Caspiel, meaning that this Nocturne is just so far ahead compared to his jungle matchup. It's very scary to face a snowballed Nocturne, especially if Caspiel decides to go the route of building like a glass cannon. He'll just build full damage and instantly delete the backline of Ascension Gaming if he does decide to dive in with his paranoia, because given the pace of this game, it looks like Caspiel is in a position to impact the map even earlier compared to Intereso.
Nearing the 7-minute mark, Caspiel getting the first blood, already picking up the challenging smite, the red smite for himself from the first back. Looks like for KLH, they would really depend on Caspiel. When the level 6 does happen, things will get exciting around the rift here as Ascension will try and match the aggression coming from Caspiel. Has to respect the Nocturne if the ultimate is up.
Yeah, and we keep talking about Caspiel and how he sets up his teammates, and we fail to credit the other members of Kuala Lumpur Hunters for the way that they have played. I think both Ozaroveki and What the Jess have played very, very well throughout the tournament. And now looking at their lane, they are winning quite heavily here given that they are running the Caitlyn Tarek. Can easily bully both the Varus and the Braum.
When it comes to playing in the Garena Premier League, the one of the prestigious league in Southeast Asia, your ticket to MSI, it's no ordinary task for these players to try and match the aggression coming from, let's say, Ascension, which at this point is a championship point when you're talking about a league such as GPL.
Definitely, so far, KLH, you're going to want to get both the Caitlyn and the Tarek outside of lane early, unlike their previous games where we saw, yeah, they did have the Caitlyn, but they weren't able to move them around the map as early as they have wanted to. Now, I want to see Caspiel make a play towards the bot side and really try to get both Ozaroveki and What the Jess ahead.
At this point, it's all about pushing out the lanes here, especially for Rocky. Picking up the Tiamat as fast as he can to try and pressure this Poppy under the tower. But the Poppy was picked just to control this Camille. We're seeing Caspiel, level 6. Waiting on a brush to try and maybe bait out the Echo here. They just cleared out the ward in the mid lane. Caspiel making slowly towards the red side of Ascension. Gets spotted by the control ward. He takes that down and in return places a ward.
Caspiel wants to invade the red buff of Intereso.
They see Caspiel. So Intereso does respect this, backing away. We are seeing pings here and there. The bot lane are trying to respond here. But for Caspiel with a sneaky move there. Looks like KLH invades the red side of Ascension. Meanwhile, in the top lane, they're just playing out the waves.
Yeah, that's a wise move by Intereso to back off. He did not have teleport from his top laner, and there was that threat of the Galio coming in to help him out if Caspiel did decide to go for an engage. Now, bot lane is looking like an incredibly tempting target for the Kuala Lumpur Hunters. We see everyone collapsing here. Here comes the combo.
Here comes the combo, and the hero's entrance here only knocks off the Braum. There is the glacial feature for that powerful slow zone. Calls in the teleport. G4 does cancel it out.
Yeah, I think RH could have actually gone for a kill had he flashed on top of Lloyd, but looks like Ascension Gaming knew that it was coming given that they were able to lay down vision early in the area that ward that Intereso placed just around the red buff. But wait, we see a teleport coming from Shiro towards the bot side. He's flanked around.
Was flanking around the bot lane side. He may go for the stun here, trying to scout out the members of Ascension, but in the end, forced to teleport to the bot lane to respawn. He may pay a heavy price here, but in return, KLH, they do have the bot lane first turret.
Yeah, and that's a great win for them. That means that both Ozaroveki and What the Jess can now rotate towards the top half of the map and shut down the split pushing Camille. So that's a great win for Kuala Lumpur Hunters, really accelerating the game and ending the laning phase for the Caitlyn. So now they're going to be able to chip away at the other outer turrets available from Ascension.
And after that teleport play by the Poppy, they are eyeing this Ocean Drake. Here comes the convergence on the two members. A two-man stun by G4. What a kill onto KSPL. G4 now with the double buff in his hands, trying to chip down the turret. One more hit, face dive with the Z-Drive passive for that burst, that double kill.
Oh man, just as we were praising KLH for getting that win in the bot lane play, they do a bit of a fumble in this Ocean Drake take. G4 was able to collapse in time and he picks up 2 kills to his name. Caspiel going down unfortunately, and the Ocean Dragon as well going over to the side of Ascension.
At this point, we did praise the KLH for their rotation here, but in the end, forced to give a double kill to G4. He may just further pressure Ozoroveki. Though of the Chrono Break, he does Chrono Break away. But in return, Ozoroveki does back off, seeing how the trail was lagging behind him. He will just respect the echo and back off. Meanwhile, in the top lane, looks like a response from RH to try and stop in the top lane Rocky from pushing the top.
Yeah, it looks like RH will be the guy they send to deal with Rocky pushing. It's going to be hard for the Camille to push versus the wave clear that the Galio does provide. And I don't think they want to put the Poppy in the matchup. But let's hold that thought. Let's go over the replay of this. There was actually a ward that nearly just timed out that allowed G4 to spot this Dragon take. And with that two-man stun, he just focuses the proper target. He goes for Caspiel first, meaning he could easily pick up the kill onto the Tarek that's practically helpless at that point.
And the Ocean Drake fell to their hands, the first Drake of the game.
Yeah, and looking at this matchup, I don't think they want the Poppy to deal with the Camille, because to wave clear, the Poppy has to get a bit closer towards the Camille, and that puts her under threat, whereas all the Galio needs to do is cast the Winds of War onto the wave. And it's quite difficult for Rocky to actually kill the Galio in that 1v1.
So they will send up the bot lane duo of Ascension to the top lane with, oh, what's this? KLH stacking things up here. Ultimates are all up for the side of the Nocturne and the Galio. Expect the gang coming in hot. Paranoia is available for KLH to use to try and dive the members of Ascension. But seeing this, they don't have vision just yet. They may get the jump here. Here it comes. Fissure, is it available? No, it is. There's a disengage, but for KLH, that will not stop them from diving the top lane.
That's a disgusting combo coming from KLH, but ASC, they're trying to respond.
What a cleanse coming from Tarek to immediately remove the Glacial Prison. A teleport has been cancelled by Rocky.
That's a disgusting combo coming from the Kuala Lumpur Hunters. Just the Nocturne piled on top of him, the Cosmic Radiance for invulnerability, and the Galio as well for that added crowd control. There was no way that Ascension were getting out of that dive. Now, I think the question is, can KLH translate that into a tower?
Yes, for turret score, we know that for KLH, they took away the first turret of the game. The next Drake is the Infernal Drake, as we can see. But for Ascension, at this point, I think they're filling the match championship point here, because when you're going for 2-0 and you go for 2-1 at this point, KLH would just be more hungry to try and go for that reverse sweep.
You know, you did mention that after that first game, it might be a heavy tilter for Kuala Lumpur Hunters, but looking at this game, it doesn't seem like they have even a bit of tilt in their system. It looks like they've brushed off the ending to game 2 and have reset completely, because they look good in this third game.
Yes, I did say that at the start for KLH, this was a tilter, but I also said that they could brush it off. Now in the top lane, they may go for a gank here onto the Tarek. Convergence comes in, stuns the Caitlyn. That is a lockdown that Ascension was looking for. Removes the marksman from Kuala Lumpur Hunters. Meanwhile, Gali going in for the Echo. He's forced to Chrono Break away. Here comes Caspiel with a knockdown. The fear is on to G4. They eliminate G4 in the top lane. The tower still stands. One more hit, but the problem is there with the Unbreakable. They're focusing onto the virus. Stand behind me for the added bonus damage. That's going to be the taunt. Will not connect. And the Galio goes in with the Justice Punch onto the Sejuani. Chain of Corrosion connects on the 3 members of the Kuala Lumpur Hunters. Ascension is now going for the turn.
Yeah, the re-engage from Ascension game was absolutely massive. A few more hits will mean that Lloyd can pick up a kill, as Caspiel. Will he get anything here? No, will be denied by the Unbreakable. But man, the re-engage really pulling it well. Okay, we're not stopping here, Vulcan. We're not stopping, or are we? Ah, they back off. That's unlucky.
As for Ascension, they would back up from that tower. And for KLH, they will not risk any more after seeing 4-3 casualties. Especially the turret is kind of low on health there. They were able to chip it down, did remove the top lane outer turret.
Yeah, and I like how Ascension were definitely playing around the cooldowns on both the Paranoia and the Hero's entrance. They knew that both of those abilities were still not available on the side of KLH, which allowed them to make that play onto Azora Vecchi. But after G4 went down, I think KLH, they were so confident that they could win the rest of the fight. They didn't respect the fact that Lloyd still had enough resources to turn that fight around. Once the Chain of Corruption came out, it meant that Ascension had all the means to go back and fight the members of the Hunters.
So for the Hunters, trying to push out the mid lane here for Azora Vecchi, he has to be very careful. We did see before is that the Convergence set up the kill there. Goes in for the face dive. The passive should proc the speed boost, but the last stack, it will not connect.
Yeah, just enough to get out of there. The 90 caliber net getting Azora Vecchi out of trouble, but we've seen this happen quite constantly now where the Echo is constantly able to reach the Caitlyn. He has to play a bit more carefully, especially with what the just not being in range to immediately protect him, because G4 definitely has enough damage to burst him down as bot lane.
Gets denied with the Arctic Assault with the steadfast presence there. So I think for the engage, got denied from Intresso, they will just back away from the Poppy.
Yeah, and even if Intresso was able to lock down the Poppy, there weren't any members from the rest of Ascension that could actually help him kill that Poppy 1v1.
The Infernal Drake is live right now. Ascension, they're eyeing this as of this moment for G4 and for Intresso. They're in the scene here. Okay, convergence there for this. Slowly comes the teleport.
Where is he teleporting? It looks like we're going to see a fight.
Looks like they caught him out there. Here comes the entrance onto the virus. Everyone is focused onto Lloyd. Now they remove Lloyd. One member down for the count, especially the virus. The marksman has been removed. Kuala Lumpur Hunters now eye their Infernal Drake.
Oh man, Rich wasn't in there in time to protect his 80 carry from going down. Infernal Drake is on the table. It is a 4v5 in favor of the Kuala Lumpur Hunters, but we're yet to see them make a move towards this dragon.
5-5 kill score here. We're still seeing in the map that Kuala Lumpur Hunters are eyeing the Infernal. Maybe they will go for a contest. Here it comes. 2-man stun plus the Fissure was there. Trying to deny the engage. The Fissure is there for the slow. The Prison did connect, but without any damage. Kuala Lumpur Hunters wins that fight.
Yeah, too much CC and too much damage piling onto the members of Ascension. There was no turnaround available for Ascension that time because the Cosmic Radiance went down and G4 wasn't able to assassinate anyone with his Echo. He was forced to use his ultimate defensively, and with Lloyd being removed very early in that fight, there was just no way Ascension were gonna get out of that challenge alive. And KLH, they pick up the Infernal Drake. Now they need to get out.
Teleport coming in. There's the lockdown there onto the Poppy. They will not take away the targets there for the Dazzle Stun, but for RH, he will remove Rocky. Now left alone, G4 used the Blast Cone, but that will be Azora Vecchi taking the last kill. Now KLH turning things around here, focusing onto the Braum, leaving behind the virus. Here comes the Poppy, pinning down. This is Joani, low on health. That would be What the Jess, picking the kill onto Intresso.
Yeah, Ascension were trying to pick up exit kills after that Infernal Drake. They didn't want to let Kuala Lumpur Hunters get out of it for free, and G4 tried to go for the re-engage, but he dives into 5 members of the Kuala Lumpur Hunters without his ultimate. That's a very squishy Echo, so KLH immediately turned all of their attention to him, and that's why they were able to pick up 2 kills onto the members of Ascension. They were just overextending.
Naturally, the G4 really needed that ultimate for the Chrono Break to reset his health. He could not sustain the damage there. In the end, KLH got what they wanted. The Infernal Drake fell to the hands to KLH. The second Drake has been taken away. Next Drake, the third, will spawn soon. It will be the Ocean Drake. Meanwhile, the Baron buff will spawn in 24 seconds.
Yeah, and I think now that the Baron is on the table, wait up. We see a
Paranoia.
Nocturne. Where's he going?
Paranoia is coming in hot. That will just be an attempt for Ascension to just back away. KLH trying to establish vision in the Baron pit side, seeing how it will be live in 8 seconds.
I wonder if that was a misclick or if he was trying to go for someone.
The stun will not connect there. There's a spell shield. The Prison will connect to the Nocturne. They're focusing on to GPL with removing the Nocturne. That's going to be the bonus for Ascension. Meanwhile, only one member is down for the count at the time where the Baron has spawned.
Yeah, they did pick off the Nocturne, so that means there are no more threats onto Lloyd for the next 20 seconds. Now, KLH have to respect this a bit, and I think Ascension will be on the foot that is moving forward. Baron, it's still fairly early into the game. I don't think they have enough damage yet to immediately kill it.
As for KLH, they're trying their best to control the lanes, preventing Ascension from pushing in more. They are waiting for Caspiel. In a way, remove the Nocturne, you remove the Galio, disengage, plus the lockdown onto the Varus.
Yeah, and looking at the way Ascension's team is positioned at the moment, we talked about this 1-3-1 potential during the champ select phase. The double teleports on their solo laners allows both G4 and Rocky to stay in these side lanes and constantly pressure as mid lane.
She connects on two members. Here comes the Cosmic Radiance, has fully channeled to the Kuala Lumpur Hunters. They get the damage reduction, they get the immunity, and they remove Rich from that fight. Ascension are now backing the way towards their turret. KLH, they're pushing in strong, 5-man strong to the mid lane. They are pushing it hard. Looks like the mid lane will not stand. Ascension loses their outer mid lane, but in exchange, they will trade things up into the outer bot lane turret.
Yeah, Ascension were playing a bit too impatiently. They're trying to go for an engage. Rich did not have his flash, meaning he could instantly be targeted and focused by the members of Kuala Lumpur Hunters. They do trade towers, but still, that's a kill going over to KLH. Now the Nocturne is back on the map. I think they're going to try and go for Rocky. Here we go.
Paranoia coming in. That will be 3 members looking out to Ascension. Top laner Rocky gets stunned there, but at this time, looks like Ascension will use this time to go for the Baron. Seeing how 3 members were invested in the bot lane side, Ascension immediately rushing towards this Baron buff.
Yeah, they need to respond to this quickly because Ascension are just burning through. Oh my god, it's still fairly healthy. They need to turn.
They overstep. They get locked down by the prison. The Caitlyn is in trouble. Can KLH defend Ozoroveki? No. G4 will just end his life there. And now the Galio is next. Next will be the support. Tarek has been removed. Ascension is this close for winning the GPL championship.
Yeah, now I think both Jiro and Caspiel have to get out here. Ozoroveki, he was so confident in his ability to react to the Glacial Prison coming out because he had the QSS, but unfortunately he wasn't fast enough, and Ascension immediately burst down the Caitlyn and they use the Baron as the bait. KLH bites. That's why they have 3 kills.
Now they're pushing the mid lane here, 4-man strong. They lose the outer mid lane turret.
Yeah, the mid lane tower will go down, so that now opens up the map for Ascension to just set up vision specifically around the Baron area. It's looking like such a large objective for their team, especially if they want to continue this 1-3-1 configuration that they have set up now. Let's go over and look at this. Ozoroveki, you're a Caitlyn, you're walking straight face first into the Baron. Even if you have the QSS, it doesn't prevent you from eating all of this damage coming from Ascension. They just all pile onto him, and the moment that the Caitlyn dies, there's no way that KLH can win the rest of that fight.
And as for 23 minutes into this game, kill score is 9-11. Ascension is leading with a third score of 3, whereas for KLH, they're still trying to catch up with a gold lead of 2,000 in favor to the side for Ascension. Let's up the KLH. They can still bounce back in this game 3.
Yeah, and now I think the thing that Ascension needs to avoid is for Lloyd to get picked off by the Nocturne and Galio combo, because that's what led to KLH picking up majority of their kills, is if Caspiel and Arhedge can combo up and immediately delete one of the members from the side of Ascension. Now, you see Caspiel, he's trying to look for a target here. Unfortunately, the last time he used his ultimate, I do believe somebody in range left out his vision. Now, the thing with Nocturne is you need to be able to see the target that you're going for with the Paranoia, as we see one here.
Onto Lloyd with the Heroes Enters coming in hot. 2-man knockup onto the members of Ascension Gaming. They're focusing onto Lloyd. Lloyd does flash away, reacts and counters this with the Chain of Corruption. That will be fully channeled there, but they will not commit to this fight. The teleport has been cancelled by G4.
Yeah, Caspiel dives in once again on top of Lloyd. The Varus is a fairly immobile AD carry. Even if they don't pick up the kill onto the Varus, they do burn his flash. And Nocturne ult and Hero's Entrance are on a faster cooldown, so now Lloyd has to be extremely respectful of the fact that everyone from KLH can just instantly dive on top of him.
And as for Ascension, has to be very careful with their positioning. They need to be near Lloyd. just in case that the Nocturne will get to jump on them, get the Glacial Fissure ready there for that immediate disengage. But for Lloyd, he will not have the same safety as he did before because he has burned his flash, and now bot lane looks like for Rocky, he's eyeing this Poppy. Shiro is in trouble.
Oh, Shiro, I don't think he can get away here. Rocky definitely has enough damage to take down this Poppy. It's just a matter of can he catch up. Shiro is trying to survive for as long as he can, but here comes G4. I don't think he's getting out of this.
Oh, look at that denial engage there, but in the end, G4 will be picking up the kill. Maybe for Rocky. He knew that it was dead meat. He was trying to buy time so that for KLH, they could try and get some vision there in the Baron side. RH in the top lane trying to push the waves in.
Do they have enough damage to take out Interessor? Because if the jungler goes down here, it might mean Baron onto the side of KLH.
Good thing Rich was there with the prompt for that response. Meanwhile, Rocky in the bot lane is pushing up the waves here with the Camille. And for KLH will commit to this tower dive in the top lane. What a fissure by Rich to immediately deny the engage coming from the Nocturne. But in the end, it was not enough. It will be KLH taking down Lloyd and taking down Rich.
GPL is popping off on this Nocturne pick. It's really paying dividends for the Kuala Lumpur Hunters. And looking at that earlier play, even if they didn't get the kill onto the Varus, they did burn his flash, which is probably the only way that he gets to safety from the Nocturne and the Galio combo. Now with the bot lane deleted off of the map for Ascension Gaming, Kuala Lumpur Hunters have now begun the Baron.
Barrel conversion was there, but no stun will connect. The Chrono Break is still available for G4. He uses it for the reset. The steal can still happen here. Ascension will go for the Baron. Kuala Lumpur Hunters, can they take it? They do take the Baron, and they may just clean up this fight. Baron Empowered Recall will come in hot. KLH will take away the Baron buff.
Yeah, that's a massive win for the Kuala Lumpur Hunters and the right play to make, even though that was a 50-50. GPL, full of confidence, secures the Baron for his team. Now the Kuala Lumpur Hunters for the next 3 minutes are practically gods on Summoner's Rift.
28 minutes nearing our timing here. This will be 10 and 4:15 in the scoreboard. And as for turret score, 4-3, still at a standstill. But it's the fact that KLH, they need to use this Baron buff to ramp up that score, ramp up more gold, to make most of this value, because after that contest in the Baron pit, they have lost, at least given a kill towards KLH because Entresso could not steal the Baron.
Yeah, so far the real MVP for this game have been both GPL and RH. Every time the Paranoia and the Hero's Entrance are up, we've seen the two of these players immediately go for that play. Lloyd has been bullied, tormented by this global combo coming from the Kuala Lumpur Hunters, just staying true to their name, constantly hunting down this Varus as mid lane is the next target.
Here it comes. Convergence was placed there for the zone. Looks like G4 cannot commit under this tower. He will be forced to back up. Same with the other members of Ascension. KLH now pushing in strong with the Baron Empowered minions. That was a smite to the kind of minion. Looks like they will not let any cheap damage happen to their inhibitor turret.
Yeah, and this is a great siege setup. You can lay down the traps from the gated, but we're gonna go dive.
Coming in on, that has been a stopwatch, has been sprung. The stasis is playing. Lloyd, he could not escape there. Immediately gets shocked by RH. KLH invading the side of Ascension, destroy the inhibitor turret, now eyeing for the inhibitor. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Rocky is a bit busy there, but for KLH, they would seize this opportunity. They will be the ones to try to enforce this game 4. A shot out to G4. RH takes down the mid laner of Ascension. Nexus turn 1 is down. Next will be the second one. Looks like the Kuala Lumpur Hunters will force this third game into a fourth.
If you want to head to MSI, there is no easy route. Just like that, Kuala Lumpur Hunters, despite losing game 2 in such an unlucky fashion, they bounce back in the third game and force game 4. Man, Kuala Lumpur Hunters looked absolutely great in that game. The setup, the Nocturne, the Galio, just absolutely bullying that Varus, and Lloyd really did not have a great time in that game.
Well played for the Kuala Lumpur Hunters. As for Ascension Gaming, they tried their best here. When I saw the Baron pit being contested by Kuala Lumpur Hunters and Ascension, I thought that Ascension, from the 3-man cleanup there, they had what it takes to end the game. But knowing this, the Galio combo with the Nocturne proved too difficult for Lloyd to try and react.
Yeah, and that's a great way to bounce back after an incredibly close game 2. And now moving on to game 4. What is on the minds of Ascension Gaming? They were only one win away from closing out the series, but Kuala Lumpur Hunters, they came fighting back, and Now, the reverse sweep is looking like such a huge possibility for the Kuala Lumpur Hunters. So for the KLH fans out there, you definitely have to cheer your team on.
So as we head on to a short break, we will continue the best of 5 series, the finals of the Korean Premier League Spring Season 2018. My name is Vulcan, with me is Gisto. We'll be signing off for now. See you there for Game 4.